What's up, YouTube? Dark God back again with day 5 of my Oscar breakdown and reviews. Today is Best Supporting Actor, 5 nominees. Any one of these could actually win this award. I think this is probably the tightest race. You have some heavy favorites, I think, a little bit, but this is one that could go any way possible. Getting right into it, first nominee, Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World. The biggest thing about this movie is the fact that he took it on such a late notice with all the stuff going on with Kevin Spacey, with the sexual misconduct stuff, and the fact that he took and basically filmed his scenes over the course of 9 days. He was previously interested in the role, so he did kind of know the role, but the fact that come in and be able to do this film at such a high level in short notice, only about a month before the main release of the film, shows like the talent that Plummer has. The character itself is just such a brutal, cold character. Just not really in touch with the world as a whole. Just all about the money, and just seeing him in this dark, cold stature and everything, and just knowing that like from other roles and interviews that he's just as a nice guy, and being able to circumvent that and be this brutal character. It's great. I mean, it's not really a character; it's a real person, but it's just great to see him do that, and again with such short notice. I think that might play into some voters' views and choice of him. And I also think you might get some people that just want to spike Kevin Spacey for losing out on the role and giving the award to the guy who replaced him. So it's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, all 5 are potential, but that's just like that little extra nuances that could help push him ahead. Second one you have is Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Now you have 2 people nominated from Best Supporting Actor from the same movie. Usually I think that plays against each other. Here I don't think it is so much, because I think the roles are so vastly different. Like Woody Harrelson he's on the wrong side of the main character, but at the same time he has like respect, and he's a good person deep down, and I mean tragedy still comes to him, but he's just this good person. See Woody Harrelson play the role. It's such a, I mean, it's like the Matthew McConaughey thing. Like you just have this vision of what these actors portray, and how they play a character, and then they kind of shock you, and they do this. Like I know Woody Harrelson had some cool roles like this before, and he's always been cool with them, but like. Just something about this sheriff role. He really knocks it out of the park with it. I mean, he just steps up his game, and he just, at the same time that he's kind of like respected and loved, you see that he does feel, and he has all this stuff going on outside of the main issue that's bothering him, and it's impeding on his life, and it just builds over time, and he's a tragic character, but Woody Harrelson just does a great job at you seeing him, and you feel for him, even though all the shit that he's done. I mean, he doesn't do anything bad, but he's just not doing his job properly, you know. So it's good to see that. The other nominee for the same film is Sam Rockwell. Now Rockwell is the one that was getting all the praise for it, and Rockwell's the exact opposite character, because Rockwell's just this despicable, racist, bigot, misogynist, and I mean having like a change of heart over the course of the movie. I mean, it's a good like redemption arc and everything, and he both sides of the spectrum. Like for the first hour and 15 minutes of the movie, he's just this brutal, terrible person, and then tragedy hits him, and you feel a whole different way for him afterwards. Like whereas Woody Harrelson, you kind of respect him for the whole beginning of it, and then when the tragedy hits him, you just kind of feel bad. Sam Rockwell, like it changes your perspective on him, and just like changes the perspective of the character. He goes from being this terrible person. He's still not a good person, but he realizes that he's done things that aren't so wrong as that they're just, I guess wrong is the word to use, because they just don't make him a good person. So the 4th nominee is Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project. Another great role. Willem Dafoe is just such an amazing actor in like everything he does, and it's cool to see this. Like he's such a caring, good person. The one problem I have with the film is the film just builds up, and then the ending comes, and it just it's a letdown, and it's like an incomplete ending for me. And Willem Dafoe is just really good in it, playing this guy who basically takes these street kids and their moms, and he lets them bend the rules to stay at the motel he works at, and he kind of keeps an eye out on them and everything. And it's just a good-natured person who he wants to be stern, and he wants to push back and have them not do what they're doing and not break the law, but at the same time he realizes that these are mothers trying to care for their kids, and he does help them the best he can. And just another, it's a basic human nature kind of character, but Willem Dafoe just always puts his spin on it. Just again knocks it out of the park. Another amazing job. Like Willem Dafoe, I don't know if Willem Dafoe could lead a movie, but Willem Dafoe is just always a great supporting actor. He just always fills the scenery and just does his job so well, and makes every scene he's in with the main actors a lot better. I know he's the best supporting actor in this, but I feel like he could have been up for best actor, because he really is the person who pushes the story along. Like, I know the kids are kind of like the focus of the story, and the one mother is kind of the focus, but Willem Dafoe is the one who pushes it all along. So I think he could have actually got a best actor nomination. Fifth nominee, is Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water. Now, the thing with Richard Jenkins, Step Brothers is one of my favorite movies. So seeing a guy who's in that and just is so great as a straight man in that movie, and then going to play this character in Shape of Water, that, I mean, he's through and through a good person. So I mean, you compare it to all the other nominees, like him and Willem Dafoe are both good people, and the other ones are kind of like a little jaded, a little edgy and everything. But Richard Jenkins, there's nothing about him that's bad. Like, he's just a good friend. He just cares about the main character, and he's one of the first people that finds out about the relationship between her and the creature. And he just is always there for her and everything. And it's crazy to think of Richard Jenkins in a straight character. Like, I picture him in Step Brothers, like I said, and I picture him Cabin in the Woods. And so it's weird to see him take this straight, serious role. Like, he does have a couple moments where he's used for the comic relief, and there's a couple moments where he's used for like the social message, and they're both done very well, where he handles them both equally just, and he pushes both issues, or both directives, and he does a good job at it. And it's just unusual to see him in that light. I do think he gets a little overshadowed by everybody else. I think he does an amazing job, but I do think out of the five, he's probably the lowest rung of it. Maybe him and Harrelson all at the lowest. That's not saying anything bad. Like, I just feel like there could have been probably like somebody else that could have taken one of them out, but it's still cool to see Richard Jenkins in that nomination. So now my snub, as I said, I think somebody could have been above him or Woody Harrelson. I think my snub is Armie Hammer for Call Me by Your Name. I think he's as good as the main character, and he just pushes the story along so good, and just plays his role. Like, I mean, he fits right into like the 80s American in Italy. Like, he just, that role just went naturally to him and just fits it perfectly. And just falling in love with the main character and everything, and just how it all is entwined. And at the end of the film, he's just like a totally different person. I think Armie Hammer could have definitely been in that spot, and he definitely showed his ability to act on like top-notch level. My dark horse for these nominees is Christopher Plummer, because just everything surrounding him, with the short notice of getting the job, with the sexual harassment going on. He kind of has this image right now where he's like he's the guy that went in there and replaced the bad guy Kevin Spacey, and I just think that might play into people's minds, and seeing how great of a job he does on such a short notice, that I think there's a chance that he might pull it off. If I had to pick a winner though out of the five, I'm picking Sam Rockwell. Mostly because no character on here has such a redemption arc like Sam Rockwell's character does. And from the first 3/4 of the movie to the last quarter of the movie, he's a different character on both, and both of them he knocks it out of the park with. He's just that good, and he just is firing on all cylinders, and any other stupid cliche I could use to talk about how good he does in this. So if I had to pick a winner, I'd pick Sam Rockwell. So that's it. Tomorrow I'll have my Best Picture nominees and everything, and I might throw another video up. It's still a little tight, but until then, I'll catch you on the flip side.